So certain Asian country nationals are treated like shit abroad in foreign countries when they're traveling, and this is despite having a visa. Now, first, let's discuss some of the passports from these countries. They're some of the most horrendous or pathetic, useless passports. Some are as good as, well, let's say near trash. When you consider a North Korean passport, that's pure trash, right? You just can't, no one's going to let you in. But if it's not North Korea, then it's not even an American passport or a British passport. It's still a super pathetic passport. And excuse my language, but that's exactly what it is. It's near trash. You might love your country, you might be a proud nationalist, but when it comes to the passport, that's a separate matter. That's an access or a travel document. The passport, it doesn't really define your nationality or how beautiful or how good or how safe your country is, and vice versa. Now, when it comes to the passport, first of all, the biggest hurdle that's faced by a lot of these people, certain Asian countries, not all, I'm not talking about a Japan, right? I'm talking about the South Asian countries, some of them. And the biggest issue when you apply for a visa is that you don't get a visa a lot of times. And it's not about the interview. They're not going to see your skin color. They're going to see your passport color and what nationality your passport is from. And based on no interview, without even ever knowing you as a person, only certain countries like US or UK might ask you for an interview. Most of the countries in the world don't ask you for an interview. When you go and apply for visas, it's extremely difficult. And as the world starts getting more and more complicated, as people from these affected Asian countries, in often cases, these are Asian dictatorship countries where their citizens are in the billions and they're trying to flee some of these countries, right? And when they present their passport, the biggest problem that these countries have, the countries with the stronger passports have, is that they want to protect their citizens. They don't want all these elements coming in for a visit in their country and then never going back. Now, that's a realistic threat with a lot of exponential asylum filings and whatnot. They have to be careful that their country is not abused. So, getting the visa in the first place is some of the most challenging hurdles that you would face. And then let's say you even somehow manage to get the visa, there's a good chance that in future you'll go through the same scrutiny. A lot of countries don't issue visas for 5 years or 10 years. It's like a 90-day deal or a 6-month deal. So you're facing that same issue not just once, but again and again. One single mistake and gotcha, you're denied, and then you'll always be denied. That one denial can lead to other denials, and you could be in hot mess. A lot of those YouTubers who travel freely, they somehow are able to obtain a strong visa like the Schengen visa or the US visa, and then they use that for visa free entry to half the countries that they visit. So if you're in that situation, then it's slightly better. But if you're not in that situation, getting visas for every single country is the biggest mess that you're confronted with. And the second issue is that, let's say you even somehow manage to obtain the visa, what happens next when you travel to those countries? You are discriminated, and I won't say necessarily based on your skin color. Let's say you're holding a German passport, they're going to welcome you in. But if you have one of those concerned passports, then even if you have a visa, there's going to be questioning, grilling, cross questioning. How many days? Where's the hotel booking? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Sometimes people get deported for no real fault. So, and even if you enter the country, again, there's no guarantee that you will be let inside the country the next time you visit. So, a lot of issues, and these are all defined and summarized by the kind of passport that you carry. The most horrible solution that's marketed in the RCBI industry is purchase a passport. But when you're purchasing a passport, half the passports are no good because either they have lost access or they don't have any real practical entry. On paper, they might have some access, but the moment you present some of these passports, you are setting the alarm bells ringing. And these marketers are never going to say that to you because they want to sell these passports, make money. They don't care about you. They care about their business. They care about the money. So they're going to sell you pure garbage. You're going to spend 100K, 200K BSing around, right? And then getting shitty items. Not all are bad, but some are really bad, really terrible. And then once you, that's not the solution, right? According to me, that's not the solution. And I'm not giving you any immigration advice. I'm giving you my analysis and practical feedback, right? Based on what I think about these things and based upon the time that I've spent with these things and working with clients globally. Now, what is the solution? A solution is a natural option. I know it sounds tough, but there's a hybrid option, right? Where it's not just moving to a country, spending the half of your life. Let's say you're not going to an US, you're not going to Canada, you're not going to UK. You don't have the time. You're not at that stage of your life. You're a successful, rich person. You're not going to move your whole life and your whole family like a migrant, move to a country, live the migrant life, struggle, and then try to acquire a passport after 10 to 15 years. That's absolute BS. It doesn't work for a lot of people. Yes, it might work for students and stuff. It just doesn't work for a lot of successful people. So then what do? You have the hybrid option where you can pick up, cherry pick flexible residencies. And that's where our expertise are in that specific domain where you cherry pick your options. You got to have at least 2 or 3 options in Latin Americas so you can pick easy residencies. And when I say easy, these are easy paper residencies, which means there's a lot of flexibility. You don't have to physically move your life there. You can enter in once every year, once every 2 years, once every 3 years, and you can strike that, right? At least 4 or 5 great options, right? I've covered Guatemala, Panama, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Argentina. Honduras is the new option. So these are beautiful, solid residencies. A lot of people talk about El Salvador. I just don't see how that is an option because you got to physically live there to maintain it. But there are a lot of other nuances, different categories where you don't necessarily have to live full time in some of the other countries that I'm talking about. So Latin America is one of our biggest strongholds. Anytime you're interested in striking any of those flexible residencies, and they range, right? You can get certain cards in a single day, and other cards you can obtain in less than 30 days. So there's a range that we work with, and based on how much VIP treatment you're looking for, it really goes by investment amounts. So again, we can have the discussion. You can always reach us, book a call. A lot of people ask, hey, how do I call you directly? Just go to the website. There's an option to reach us. So you go through the route that everyone else goes through, and we can get you started with anything in Latin America. There are 3 hot options in Africa, and we're helping a lot of our Chinese clients, right? People that have Chinese ancestry, not necessarily they're Chinese citizens, but they are particularly very fond of the African countries. So there are 3 hot options in Africa, including 2 permanent residencies, which can be immediately obtained, right? So that's a good option to consider. If you're looking at Asia, there are 2 citizenships that can be obtained in Asia fairly simply. I would say it really depends upon the appetite, right? The threshold that you're trying to spend. And the beauty about the Asian options are they're not known or over publicized CVI options. So basically, they're not busted or controlled by Western entities. So they're protected. There's one Middle Eastern citizenship that's pretty interesting, pretty exciting for the right high profile person, which can be obtained in the Middle East. Those are just some of the great options that I'm talking about. There's a lot of content in the library. Now I keep updating my videos. I keep posting latest rule changes, developments, criteria, changes in pricing, etc. If you are not subscribed, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any exciting changes that happen in future. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you are interested in learning about one of the best passports that you can get, right, using a permanent residency, and the permanent residency can be obtained in just 30 days. If you have missed that video, hop onto this one for Panama. This really covers the importance of this program and the benefits of the program and how this is possible so soon. And we have 3 real good attorneys in Panama who can guide you through any of the options that you choose to get your permanent residency here. All right, catch you in this one.